The purpose of doing this project is to explore the Frankenstein novel, the movies to a limited degree, and talk to Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. I will interview her as well as her most famous creation, the monster himself. The interview will take place in my living room by the fireplace, with some scenes being shot elsewhere. The monster's costume will be composed of a mask, gloves, and an old black suit, and to make him appear taller, he will be wearing black platform shoes. Additionally, the monster will not speak in words, but will grunt, which will be interpreted using subtitles. Mary Shelley's costume will be composed of a women's hairstyle, as well as blouse and jacket somewhat reminiscent of her time period. The interviewer will dress casually to reflect modern times. A series of questions will be asked and responded with an answer. Creative footage from a self-made movie/skit will also be used in order to help respond to questions. The camera that will be used to film it is a Sony camera. Post-production will be completed on a Mac computer using iMovie. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my living room. We have here two special guests today, Mary Shelley, the author of the novel Frankenstein, and her most famous creation, the monster. Okay, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thank you two for coming. Starting with you, sir. How would you like to be addressed? Frankenstein or the monster? Okay, Mr. Monster, in this narrator's opinion, your character is really a mirror. It reflects the good and bad of people around you. There are times when you come across as a very down-to-earth monster, yet you turn violent when people treated you poorly. What gives your character its moral compass?
Come on, let's go. Go, touchdown! Hell yeah! This is football in my country.
Courthouse steps. So what do liars do? They answer questions that aren't asked. Think about that. Your husband comes home and you say, oh, how you going? Oh, we've been over to Bob's house and yeah, we were working out in the backyard on the mower. Yeah,
Hey y'all, get Frankie, pump up the jams, pump it up as your feet are stomping, and the jam is pumping. Look ahead, the crowd is jumping. Go Frankie, get Frankie, hey, Frankie, get Frankie, get a white boy, get Frankie, hey.
Mary, a question for you now. For centuries, book critics have questioned who is the real monster in your book, Victor Frankenstein or his creation. How do you respond to this observation?
One of the main messages of my novel was to warn people on the advancement of science. Yes, of course much good can come from science, but much evil can corrupt from it as well. Think of fire. It can keep us warm or it can burn down your house. Also consider the weapons used in World War I, such as mustard gas, World War II, the atomic bomb. These weapons were the result of the advancement of science which cost thousands of lives. Just horrible.
Mary, is that the reason you first published the book anonymously? Were you afraid of retribution for that message, or was the concept of the book ahead of its time?
Well, 1818 London was a very different time. Women were not fully accepted as writers, thus the reason I didn't put my name on it. I wish I had known about movie rights, royalties, movie franchising and merchandising back then, because today we would have been doing this in my castle rather than this dump.
Mary, many times in this book, Victor Frankenstein becomes ill. Is some of that due to his guilt from creating the monster and then afterwards neglecting it?
Somewhat. I was trying to say that event with the best intentions. We sometimes create things that we end up regretting. That sometimes we have to take things too far. In my book's example, there is the element of a godlike complex for Victor Frankenstein's character, but only God should have the power to create life, not man.
Is that why the original book title was The Modern Prometheus?
Yes, the ancient Greek tale of Prometheus involves a titan stealing fire from Zeus and giving it to man. Other words, man obtained the power of fire which create good and evil, life or death.
Mr. Monster, how would your character adapt to today's society? Would you be the modern day Lindsay Lohan? Mr. Monster, in the novel your character learns to speak by watching people interact together. Yet you have been grunting and growling during this interview. Why is that?
Excuse my interruption, but I think the modern interpretations of my book, people took creative license and wanted the monster to be even less human, so by making him sound more like the creature would dehumanize the character even more.
Well, apparently by the clock on the wall, we are out of time. I want to thank my two guests, Mary Shelley and the big guy, for showing up. Thank you.